Still one of Britain's most popular seaside resorts, there was no time for the pleasure beach for the riders. Their priority was recovery and refuelling ahead of the second stage from Blackpool to Liverpool. The Northwest stage covered 163 kilometres, or 101 miles if you prefer, taking in 3 climbs, the biggest being Waddington Fell, before the flat run-in to Liverpool through the coastal town of Southport. A bright and breezy start to the stage in Blackpool, in contrast to the finish they hosted here last year in torrential rain, which was won by Great Britain's Roger Hammond. This year he leads a young British development team.
Well, essentially it's our men's endurance track team. So even though they ride and focus on the track events, they need a lot of endurance throughout the season. So they ride road races, and our team here is the team that's based out in Italy that rides a lot of road races to prepare them for endurance events on the track. Although they all have aspirations, I think, individually to become top road professionals at a later date. We combine a young team, bring them over and give them experience of the racing that they need for the track line later on as well.
So where might we see one or two of these British young stars of the future competing?
Well, as you've seen, Mark Cavendish has signed for T-Mobile, and so he's gone from our academy programme and moved on now up through the ranks and gone into one of the world's leading teams. And I think a lot of the guys will be hot on his heels and following in his footsteps, and it'll be good to see. And I think over the coming years we'll see more and more of our younger riders coming through our track academy system and moving on into the Tour de France teams.
And of course you've got Roger Hammond in that Great Britain team. He's there obviously to hopefully perhaps pass on some of his experience.
Yeah, I mean, Roger's ridden with us last year, and he's ridden with us again this year. And the idea with Roger, really, he's very, very good at passing on the years of experience that he has as a professional rider, and just giving the younger lads a bit of reassurance, if you like, on the road, a bit of confidence. And he talks to them constantly on the radio and gives them tactical advice and positional advice, and just gives them that little bit of advice on the road that's quite difficult to give from the car. So that on the road sort of camaraderie, experience and guidance is worth its weight in gold, really. So he does a great job at it.
So much young British talent coming through now, and they're based in Italy, in Tuscany, where they race on the Italian circuit. Well, there is the world champion just at the back of the field as they set off down the Golden Mile for this stage, sponsored by Liverpool 08 and Northwest Development Agency.
Well, it's a nasty stage at the start today, Hugh. 3 really tough climbs, which I think will see the race start to fracture. But following that, there's more than half the distance on flattish road, so there's plenty of time for teams to get organised and chase things down. So despite the nasty terrain earlier on, I think it is possible we'll see a bunch finish today.
Well, there are the weather conditions. Possibility of rain, and it looks a bit overcast there, but I must admit at the moment the sun is shining, and it's shining on these two that are going away. Both representing the De Vitamon Lotto team, both from Belgium as well. That's Bert Roesems and Johan van Summeren. They're very tall, rangy riders, these.
Well, I think they're going to struggle a bit when they hit the climbs. Not surprising they've got away on the flat. What is surprising, though, is the peloton's let 2 teammates go away. That's unusual because they'll work very, very well together. So there's only 2 of them, but they will commit themselves absolutely.
It was noticeable when we got that shot of the peloton as well that the CSC team were all lined out on the front doing the chasing. Here they are, they're still at the head of the field, including the yellow jersey, so they're obviously concerned about those riders going clear. And right in the wheel of Pedersen there was Goss, and Goss will be looking to try and take some time in the sprint because he's only 2 seconds behind the yellow jersey, and he got 1 second there. There it is, confirmed. Van Summeren got the 3, Roesems the 2 and Goss the 1, and now it means that Goss is only trailing Pedersen, the yellow jersey, by 1 second.
Well, his plan for the day is clear then, and he's obviously recovered from yesterday. Roger Hammond, at the meantime, down the other end of the field. He doesn't look in too much difficulties, probably just need to go back, discuss some tactics before he heads back up.
Well, this is the kind of terrain that they've got to race through today. There are 3 tough climbs. Westfield Towers, the Trough of Bowland, and the final sting in the tail is Waddington Fell.
They come in quick succession too, Hugh, just straight down, straight back up again, so I really think some people are going to struggle today.
These 2 big fellas now on Waddington Fell, the final climb of the day, and Roesemans, despite being a big fella, has been at the top of the first 2 with maximum points. Now then, can he complete the day by taking the King of the Mountains? Big crowd on the climb waiting for the arrival of the field.
Spectacular shot there, aerial shot, just shows just how hard this terrain is. But the peloton, some experienced riders, they know there's still a long way to go, so they're going to get through these climbs, organise themselves, and then go after the two escapers.
So Roosums again coming to the top here, in the lead with his teammate just tucked in his wheel. That's Van Summeren. So Roosums has taken all 3 climbs today, a maximum of 24 points under his belt, so he's the leader, and they've still got 4 minutes and 40 seconds. But the thing is, Chris, 37 miles at the summit of the climb, and now they're going to descend, and it's going to be flat, and that's going to favour the big field.
Absolutely, I think they're going to really have their work cut out to stay away on the flatter roads to come. And obviously we can see they're committed now, they've got nothing to lose, and they're going to push all the way to the finish. They're on the terrain that they favour best.
Here are the field, just coming over the top now, the yellow jersey there, Pedersen, getting maximum support from his team, and CSC really are motivated to try and win this event. Confirmation then of the standings in the King of the Mountains. Roosums leading from Van Summeren. 3rd position, as you saw there, Ben Greenwood, the British rider. Feeding station, always a dangerous area when they pick up the musettes.
Yeah, this is a tradition in cycling, unusual to cycling. You just can't carry enough fuel for the whole race. You have to pick something up halfway. A lot of vigilance necessary, certainly when you come through inside the peloton, when there's a lot of people trying to do the same thing.
Well, the next sprint will be Southport, and there's the yellow jersey, Pedersen. And we'll be looking to see whether Goss can take back the second that he trails the yellow jersey, and then that would give them an equal contest as they get nearer to Liverpool. Over the line there first, number 36, that's Van Summeren. He got the 3 seconds, Roosums got the 2, and now the lead is down to 2 minutes.
This Australian guy is only on 1 second, so be careful with this.
Well, Tristan Hoffman, Pedersen's team manager at CSC, he's worried because he knows this is going to be close for the yellow jersey.
Goss at the front, if he can take this, and it looks like Pedersen has surrendered there, so Goss got the 1 second. Now they're equal, so they are actually on the same time in the race. There is confirmation of the T-Mobile sprint in Southport. Well, the leader's advantage is being cut dramatically now, and the field have got them in their sights. It's young Ben Swift from Great Britain.
They're taking a rest. I think they're going to have plenty of work to do later on. Roger Hammond has been looking particularly strong. He'll be looking to finish well in Liverpool.
So that was Andy Tennant just at the side of Roger Hammond, the former World Junior Pursuit Champion, and there is the catch. So they've been reeled in after a long break, almost 93 miles. And now they're all together, and it's all to play for in Liverpool. And the yellow jersey now just coming to the front, being assisted by his teammates.
Quick Step, of course, probably the strongest team on paper in this race, and they did an awful lot to make sure that breakaway did come back.
T-Mobile riders near the front, two of the young Australians as well. It's a team that's based in Varese near Milan, actually. They spend 7 months of the year there with their training camp. And this is the 3rd sprint at Thornton. And if Goss can take this, he will be the leader on the road. Goss has got the edge over Pedersen. Kaiser comes through for 2nd. So that now means that Goss leads Pedersen in the overall standings by 2 seconds.
Liverpool then prepares to welcome the Tour. It's a city well known for its sporting and musical heritage, and in 2008 will host the finish of the Tour of Britain to coincide with Liverpool being awarded the title of European City of Culture.
These are the 2 leaders now with just over 4 kilometres to go. They've got about 30 seconds over the main field. Rob Sharman on the recycling team and Michael Morkov of Denmark. Well, it's a brave effort, this.
It is, but they don't look fully committed. They look like men who are halfway through a stage. When there's just a handful of kilometres left to go, you have to commit yourself 110%, because these guys aren't going to sit up and wait for you to ride away.
Well, Liverpool on the skyline now ahead, and Morkoff at the front, followed by Sharma, but they really need to put the hammer down.
Well, it's just a distraction, I think, for the main event. If you're riding like this, it isn't going to stay away. You have to share the work, and sure enough, it's pretty much all over there.
About 25 metres advantage now, and as you say, Chris, it's all over. The junction's going to be made very, very shortly. And there it is, and it's the Great Britain riders that come up to the breakaway 2 first, and I thought Britain were starting to gather themselves for a big effort there, but 2 more riders trying to go clear. This is what happens in the closing stages. Riders try to jump away with the element of surprise, but when the field is moving as quick as this, it's almost impossible to stay clear.
Well, I've got to say, Quick Step is surprisingly absent here. They've got 3 strong sprinters, probably the strongest team in the entire race, and they're not present. I thought they would really want to control this. They're either playing a fantastic game of poker or they're not quite getting it right.
Well, it's a matter of who is going to take this on at the front. Roger Hammond does like these kind of finishes. He's a former junior world cyclocross champion, so he's the kind of rider that can take a gamble and a risk, because there is a sharp left-hander into Water Street off this main road, and you've got to get the line spot on.
Well, the GB team certainly feel the same way, Hugh, because they are absolutely committing themselves to this finish to try and keep it together, which is exactly what the Quick Step team should be doing. I think Mark Cavendish could play well today. He was strong yesterday, but he's probably going to lack the team that the likes of Roger Hammond has got.
Good shout with Cavendish. He's the kind of rider that's on form at the moment, particularly in the finishing sprint. He was up there in Castle Douglas, and he's got the legs. He's trying to impress, of course. He's a stagiaire on the T-Mobile team. That means if he impresses in this race and the race is up to the end of the season, he's likely to be offered a full contract. Look at this big effort on the front here by Ben Swift, the youngster from Sheffield.
Well, he's been given the job to get it down probably to the last 2 kilometres, and he really is moving well there. Obviously completely committed. Roger Hammond's got some fantastic teammates there.
And it was Pizzato in the wheel then of young Swift, and Tom Boonen, the world champion, was sitting in the wheel of Pizzato, and you could see that Roger Hammond has decided that Boonen's wheel is the one to follow.
Well, again, I mean, we saw this all summer in the Tour de France. Tom Boonen, he used his team in some rather surprising ways, and now with a kilometre to go, Hugh, he's got just 1 man in front of him, and he's very close to the front. He's taking some wind, he's not getting full shelter.
So Great Britain still leading this one out. Pizzato sitting second wheel. The world champion Boonen, wearing the world stripes, is third position. Hammond is still up there as well. 1 or 2 of the T-Mobile riders starting to come through to try and get involved in the sprint, and that could well be Cavendish coming up to the left-hander, and still on the wheel of Boonen is Roger Hammond. Now then, they've got to get the line spot on when they swing left into Water Street. It is a sharp turn, this one. Pizzato still leading Boonen. They're getting very near to the turn, and if you don't get that right, you are going to be out of the sprint.
It is critical, Hugh, because it's slightly uphill, and if you lose any speed, then it's all over.
Coming to the turn, they're getting very near now. Just watch the line that these riders take. They will have actually done their research well. Oh, look at that. That was a brilliant turn by Hammond. Boonen got it completely wrong. Hammond's got the head of the race now, and he's going to take some stopping. It's Roger Hammond leading this one out. He won a stage in Blackpool last year. He's going to win a stage in Liverpool this. Hammond takes it on the line. Verhouten was second, Russell down in third, and Mark Cavendish fourth. What a finish. But looking at the approach to the left-hander into Water Street, and I think Pizzato gave Boonen the wrong line.
He just got it completely wrong. Both of them with 500 metres to go. They just didn't look like they were right at the finish and they were going to try and win the race. They just looked like a little bit asleep, I have to say. Roger Hammond wasn't asleep. He went for the inside. He saw that opportunity. Probably couldn't believe it. What a fantastic ride by him.
Oh my word!
Well, he is really happy with that, and why not? And congratulations from the rest of the team. That's Garen Thomas and Andy Tennant. They all played their part, and young Ben Swift as well. Superb effort by the British squad.
A great win for the young national team led by the experienced Roger Hammond, who is one of 3 British cyclists in the top 4. Art Verhouten in second place, Russell Downing in third, and Mark Cavendish once again hot on his heels, finishing fourth. The peloton finished en masse, including the new leader Matt Goss, who was 20th to cross the line. The last man in, down 1 minute 44, a disappointed Baden Cook. Roger Hammond, a popular winner here in Liverpool for the second year in a row, winning stage 2 of the Tour.
I was looking forward to it anyway after Blackpool stage last year. I wasn't quite as sort of aggressive this morning because, you know, last year we lost 28 minutes on the first stage, so we really had a point to prove on the second stage. But today, you know, I felt rough really early on, and I think it's just because I've tried to pack in a bit of training for the World Championships, and I'm just finding my legs at the moment. And towards the end, I felt better and better and better. And then I just saw the opportunity. Boonen missed the last corner, and that was it. I was gone.
Another British success on stage 2 saw Yorkshire's Russell Downing take the green points jersey with 23 points at this early stage of the race. But overall, it's a 19-year-old Australian, Matt Goss, riding for the South Australia team, who leads the race by 2 seconds thanks to time bonuses from Martin Pedersen. Roger Hammond is up to 4th, although a distant 2 minutes 44 seconds adrift. A special moment then for this young cyclist receiving the yellow jersey from the Lord Mayor of Liverpool, Councillor Joe Lang. No doubt a young man with a bright future in the sport.
Certainly the biggest tour I've led, and one of the biggest results so far, and it's great, and it's not over yet. There's a little way to go, but we'll keep going.